Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Matt from pop punk band Boy and Blue Stripes.
Hi, Randy. Thanks for having me.
And now you wanna run away back to reality, 'cause California let you down. And now you wanna run away back to my side of town. But don't come calling me now. Throw away a lifetime chasing the limelight. Throw away a lifetime. Guess the coast was calling. You hugged your mom and got in your Uber and drove away. Finally got you falling for streets of stars. Yeah, you planned it all without telling me. Yeah, remember when we said we'd graduate and everything would stay the same? In a grip, the Golden State for real was only blue. And now you wanna run away back to reality, 'cause California let you down. Now you wanna run away back to my side.
I just wanted to start out with like some fun, easy questions. What was one of your favorite albums growing up?
I loved everything Blink. I actually started with Enema of the State and then Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. And then I went backwards. And then I was just like, oh, let me hear Fly Swatter. Let me hear Cheshire Cat. Let me hear Dude Ranch. So all of the, I know that's not a very unique answer, but I think it's ununique for a reason. You know, pop punk is kind of this planetary system, and Blink is at like the center. They are the center star around which this version of pop punk kind of orbits. So definitely those albums for me.
It's interesting that you went back and checked out some of those older albums. What inspired you to go back and check them out, dig into them?
I think you sort of wear the needle out, so to speak, even though they were CDs. I wore the laser out, and it's just kind of like, well, I've always really been into recording. As you can see, I love the recording side of things and always chasing bigger and better mixes. And so that was sort of a little bit eye-opening to me, because Dude Ranch definitely doesn't sound as good as Enema or Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and definitely not Cheshire Cat. Like, they kind of sound bad overall. Not Dude Ranch as much as Cheshire Cat. I think Cheshire Cat was like one day or one weekend they made that record. But it sort of forced me to enjoy the song over the recording quality, which I still struggle with today. Like, I will fall in love with a recording quality and not really be able to tell you what the song is about, which maybe that's good or bad. I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of just getting used to the newer modern sound kind of made me want to go back and learn about the history with my ears of one of my favorite bands ever.
Okay. What was your first concert you attended?
First concert that I ever attended, I'm the oldest of four kids, so my parents were learning a lot about how to raise a teenager as I became a teenager. So I wasn't really allowed to go to huge, hardcore, loud rock and roll concerts at first. My sisters were. They were allowed to do whatever they wanted, especially by the time my baby sister was of that age. But the first concert I ever went to, I saw Bachman Turner Overdrive with my dad at the Washington County Fairgrounds in 1998. And it was so loud, and I got a guitar pick, and I thought it was so awesome. But it, like, the first like humongous show was at then called Star Lake. I saw James Taylor. And so like my dad was with me for that BTO show, which was one of his favorite bands growing up, because they were called the Guess Who. These are like 60s and 70s bands. But I loved live music, so I didn't care. But yeah, so parental guidance for the first one, but alone I went with my friends to see James Taylor, because I had kind of, Stoner friends. I was never a stoner, but I had stoner friends, and James Taylor was cool for the stoner crowd, even in my generation.
Okay. Um, I want to dig in a little bit of history. What made you get started into music? Was it like a band, or did you play an instrument, or what started your spark?
Well, the I was too late for the bodybuilding competition, so I decided to join the marching band. No, just kidding. In I think it would have been 1996. I have cousins that lived in Florida at the time, and this was like February of 96. It was like on a Saturday. All the kids were home. It was cold. Everybody's inside. And that was before the age of the internet. So, my mom had a camcorder, like up on the shoulder camcorder, and she just kind of videotaped all of her kids, me and my three sisters, just kind of like playing and singing. And like we went outside for a second and everything was dead and the trees were, no leaves in the middle of February. And then we mailed that in an envelope to my aunt and uncle, whose kids are my cousins in Florida, and they did a similar thing. They were playing in like their shorts and it was 80 degrees and all that stuff. And my uncle Scott, who worked for Walt Disney World at the time as something, he was an a cappella singer at one point. I don't know if that's exactly what he was doing, but there was some Disney affiliation at the time. And he had a Fender Telecaster guitar just plugged into a whatever little amplifier in their living room, and he was playing Johnny Be Good and Happy Birthday and Mr. Rogers songs and whatever. And I just thought, like, to see that guitar was just, I don't know what, like, I don't know, how do you explain it? Like, it's like explaining like why you like raspberries. I don't know. It just captivated me. And after I saw that, I was making guitars out of paper towel tubes and tissue boxes with the rubber bands and everything. And it got me into drums and keyboard and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's baked into every cell in your body. You just have to have that catalyst that sets it loose. And I was 7 years old at the time, so that's what did it for me.
So you bought a guitar?
Well, actually, when my mom was talking to her sister, Uncle Scott's wife, Aunt Trish, like, my son, he watches that VCR tape all the time. And he's obsessed with a guitar. They actually bought me a guitar for my birthday, which seemed like forever, but my birthday was only in April. So within 2 months of just being obsessed with watching this, they sent me a junior guitar, a junior acoustic guitar in the mail. And I took lessons on that until I outgrew it. But I remember it being like too big for me. Even, a junior guitar is scaled down. It's not quite a ukulele, but it's definitely smaller than a full size guitar. Then I outgrew it and got a regular sized acoustic. It was some hand me down from a cousin, different cousin. And then I remember getting my first electric guitar the Christmas after that. And that was it. That was it. Never turned back.
Uh, do you remember the first song you learned?
Yeah, because we had to like go through the lesson book at guitar lessons. And the first it's funny because you can pick individual notes on the guitar, which is usually called soloing, or you can play chords. And I knew I wanted to like strum and play chords, but with your little tiny 8-year-old, 7-year-old hands, they teach you to pick note for note. And it was Ode to Joy. Remember that song? It's like they played in like church, I think. That was the first song though. And then it wasn't until like months later that we started chords. And then once they showed me the power chord, I was like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about theory. I don't care about any of this. I just want to rock. And so it was Ode to Joy all the way to Blink 182 and Creed sometimes, got to get it all in there.
Okay. Um, who would you say are some of your musical influences?
I obviously have to say the pop punk kings, Blink 182. I went through a heavier phase in like the mid 2000s, and I still really love this band, Story of the Year. I do kind of on purpose watch myself with my songwriting. I'm trying to keep Boy in Blue Stripes like a pop punk, pop rock band. There are some new things that I'm working on that are a little riffier, but trying to stay like within my own lane. In the mid 2000s, like we were in a band called, we meaning me and the one other guy in the band who plays guitar, Eric Beale. We were in a band called RC Static, which had pop punk songs, but then we also had like heavier Story of the Year style riffs. The only thing is like I can't scream. I can't scream like Dan from Story of the Year. Like that melodic, it's a scream, but it's also there's like a note in there. It's not like a death rattle scream. I couldn't do that, so I sort of had to stay on the poppier side of things. But yeah, I mean, I love country music too. I love the storytelling and songwriting structures in country music, and that sort of lands in Boy in Blue Stripes songs as well. We have a song called Your Only Fan. I mean, it's just a totally made up story, but it is a story. And that's like, you think every country singer grew up with a truck and their daddy said and the whatever and all that stuff. Like it's just storytelling. So my influences definitely span all kind of genres, from run of the mill pop punk to heavy stuff to country music.
Okay. Tell me about how the band came together and formed.
During COVID, I built this room down here. I'm in my basement. The rest of the basement is not finished. There's one room behind that wall that is even more soundproof. There's just more drywall on more springs to make it non-conductive to the rest of the house. But it started, as I mentioned, like with like, all right, let's do the studio first. I was in a cover band at the time that Eric Beale was in with me as well. And then you just started to notice this real resurgence of pop punk. Like, you know, one of Yellow Card's last show ever was at the Four Chord Music Festival. I don't know what it was, 2, 3, 4. Rishi Ball. We'll have to conference him in and he can tell us. But now they're back and they've been on the Four Chord Music Festival, 8, 9, whatever it was. So then you have these bands that kind of made it through the mid 2000s, like 4 Years Strong. There was another band that was not like 4 Years Strong, but I'm not thinking of All Time Low. They kind of died out. Like Forever the Sickest Kids. Do you remember those guys? They had like the synth stuff too. But so there was like different chapters of pop punk. Then it kind of went away and then it came back. And I was just like, yeah, my wife, Susan, was very encouraging. She said that, the cover band thing is cool and it's fun to go see you at, the bar up the street and have some drinks and whatever. But I think you should get back into writing your own songs. And I started taking like songwriting classes and, if you want to call them that, just buying courses online and watching the videos. I didn't like go somewhere, but like really taking that stuff to heart. How do you really write a song? Like not just, it's cool if you like it and you still should like it, but how do you make other people like it? And that's just kind of what I've been focused on. So, you know, my life's pretty great. I have a great wife. I have a great life. I have a great job. I don't really go through real heartache. So for this kind of songwriting, I can't really tap into like heartache because it's not true. So I have to make up songs about falling in love with a stranger on Instagram and then being upset that she has one of those links in her bio. And I just want to save her from that and whisk her off into the sunset. These are totally fake songs. And my little daughters are like, is this about mommy? I'm like, no, who's it about? It's about nobody. It's like Dr. Seuss. Cats don't wear hats. He just made it up. So I kind of wanted to get back into it with purpose, not so much like angst that I have to get out or heartache that I have to sing about or anything like that. It's just, it's very, it's a storytelling, very purposeful effort songwriting kind of project. And I love it. It's really, really cool. And we're like really starting to get to do more and more cool stuff this year.
And who's the other band members besides you and the guitar player?
So the bass player, his name is Garrett. I met him through recording his band down here. Mike from Old Neon referred them to me. Mike and I were in bands together in the mid 2000s as well. So like this whole network of musicians, like the old guys are still around, some of us, and the young guys too are part of it, obviously. But so he's the bass player. Then Eric Beale has been in bands with me since 2008. He was in the cover band with me. He was in RC Static with me. And we used to tease the idea of being in an original band again while we were in a cover band. And I think it's just because we were still like in the midst of, we weren't fresh college graduates, but we weren't seniors at our companies. And we both kind of are now. And to put in the energy into your career and have anything left for writing songs and trying to like book shows and getting people to come out to your shows, the idea of that was just kind of exhausting. So we were just like, the cover band's cool. Like, we're just live DJs. We're background noise. We get to drink a little, get some free food, get a little bit of door money or whatever. So whenever I started venturing back into this lane of original music, I didn't want to ask him. And I've told him this story. And he was like, why? I was like, because we made fun of this a lot. He goes, yeah, but dude, come on. This is awesome. So he's in it. And we have Jason from Go for the Gold, who I've known about for a really long time. Just an absolute monster on drums. He's the latest addition. We've been sharing him with Go for the Gold, and I can't thank those guys enough for lending us their drummer to be a part of this. And he's awesome. He's really, really cool. He fits right in. He's around our age. I think he's the oldest guy in the band. He's 42. Sorry, Jason, if you didn't want anyone to know that. But he takes good care of himself. He runs all the time. He's bald, so he's built for speed. And he's really into it. He's a really fun guy to be around and just an absolute monster on the drums. Shows up prepared, shows up early. Really, really appreciative to have him as part of it. But yeah, it's just us four. Plus the laptop for the tambourine tracks. Can't forget him.
Okay. How did you come up with the band name?
I thought of this band name in 2010 or 11. It was just one of those, it's like songs. They just sort of appear to me at really inopportune times. Usually on the toilet or in the shower is when I'll come up with a song name. And I think this was very close to that. Boy, because I'm a boy. The blue stripes thing was sort of a play on the white stripes, but blue kind of felt like emo. And that's really all it is. I don't know if it's the greatest band name I've ever come up with or the worst or somewhere in between, but every band needs a name. So that's the not so exciting story of where it came from.
Okay. What city are you based out of?
We say Pittsburgh. Beale lives like towards like the Etna area. I know it's not Etna. It's like O'Hara Township, I think, up there. So is Jason's like an actual more of a Pittsburgh proper guy. When they come to practice, they see the city. Garrett and I live in Washington County, but we just say Pittsburgh. We're close enough. I can actually see the steel building with binoculars from my backyard because I live on a hill, but it's just like smaller than an ant. But I think that counts as Pittsburgh if I can see the building.
Okay. We're going to talk about a couple songs. We're going to start out with California Let Her Down. And you sing in there, now you want to run away back to reality because California let her down. Tell me a little bit about that song and how it came together.
So I again am writing songs that are like storytelling. So this whole story is about there's another line in there where the lyrics go, remember when we said we'd graduate and everything would stay the same. So that could mean high school, that could mean college, but there's some life event, there's some turning of the page happening. and we promised each other we'd stay together, but this couple is now broken up because one person is chasing the California dream. But then they get there and realize the taxes are too high, and it just didn't really happen. And maybe this other person wanted to be. One of the lines in the opening riff is "threw away a lifetime chasing the limelight." So let's assume that means acting, actress, singer, something. Maybe singer would make more sense if it was Nashville. But then you realize that you have to put those dreams away eventually, and then you come back home. And now you want to talk to me? Girl, I don't think so. And that's the vibe of the song. That's the whole song.
Yeah, like you went out looking for something better and now you're just gonna settle for me.
Yeah, for me, I'm the settle. I don't think so. Again, this is not something that ever happened to me. It just popped in my head. And we referred to that song as the Bowling for Soup song at first because it just has that simple like root octave guitar riff, like as the intro thing, which is very similar to a lot of Bowling for Soup songs. So that was kind of the working title before we came up with California Let Her Down.
We submit your cassettes, the one last fall tensions overgrown as we slipped away. Is your signal weak out on that beach? I can hear it all clear as all your days, yeah. Remember when we said we'd graduate and everything would stay the same? In a grip, the golden state for real was only blue. And now you wanna run away back to reality, 'cause California let you down. Now you wanna run away back to my side of town. Remember when you bought a one-way ticket to LAX and found you couldn't keep your head in the clouds? Now you wanna run away. I told you not to run away.
Okay. The next song is Toxic, and you did that with Amy from Midnight Lights. And you have a line in there, because you're toxic, that's makes you perfect for me.
Yeah. So this is somebody who's self-destructive, who is a glutton for punishment. And maybe who knows why? Maybe it could be past relationships that have trained this person to be this way. Not me. Not me. But you can see how it's just like, the stereotype is like the girl likes the bad boy. Well, this song is kind of like the boy likes the bad girl, And I'm gonna start turning red now that I said that out loud. But I'm embarrassing myself a little bit, but yeah, that's the whole song. And then Amy comes in as the villain, and the last thing she says is just like, basically her whole part is just like, yeah, you're calling me toxic, but I think you love me, meaning like I know you like it. And I've had an idea for some sort of female guest vocalist song, and I didn't know Amy at all. I'd never met her. And I knew that she was one of not too many female musicians in the Pittsburgh music scene. But I knew Ryan, their singer, Midnight Lights' singer, a little better. And I just mentioned it to him, and he said that she would probably be into that and put us in contact. And we made it happen. She came here with her husband, and he got to see everything, and she was in the booth, and then we had a couple beers and I mixed it, and that was that. Then she came to practice every week up until four chord, driving over an hour to Washington County. But yeah, that was very awesome. So shout out to Amy.
Now, did she write her own part, or did you have that already written out for her?
That's a great question. I wrote everything, but I needed to show her how her part went. Obviously, me being a very masculine male with a very deep voice, I couldn't sing her part in the octave that I wanted her to do it. And I didn't want to leave anything up to guesswork or chance. So I used a plugin in Pro Tools, and we referred to it as the robot squirrel. But so it sounded exactly like you think it sounded, but it was the right notes. And I sent that to her and I said, sing it like this. So it sounds like a person and not a squirrel. And she did. And she came super prepared. She did like 4 takes and that was it. And we used it. And that's what you hear in the final recording.
Thinking fast, house of glass, and you got a hammer. Throwing stones on my own, yeah, so it don't matter. Call your love, hate my guts, and you know it that I've been thinking about you like I do. Criticize every line down to every letter. Hold my hand, play my band, say your ex is better. Call your love, hate my guts, and you know it that I've been thinking you've been drinking, messing with my head. Because you see I see it, I love it. The way you B-A-D, I can't get enough. And don't call it L-O-V-E when it's only love. 'Cause you're toxic, baby, yeah, and that makes you perfect for me.
Do you have any upcoming shows coming up?
Yeah, so on the 28th of this month, last day of the month, we are playing at Local 724 Studio. Shout out to you and the homies. Love that place. That place is really, really cool. It's not too far, but it's far enough that you kind of feel like you're almost on tour in Beaver Falls from Washington, PA. We are playing with a couple other smaller acts and then a touring band from Ohio called City Sidestep. So definitely check that out if you're in the area. And then we have another one on April 10th at Preserving Underground. That's such a cool venue. We've never played at Preserving Above Ground and never underground either. So we're going to get underground this time. Maybe someday we'll get above ground too, but the underground one is just awesome. So we're opening with for a band called Sunday Morning. They're from Connecticut. And then it's 3 local openers, us, Midnight Lights, Amy's band. So I was just like, look, if you want to, you should come do your part for that while you're here. And then also Crash Nebula is on there too. So looking forward to that. I met Crash Nebula once, obviously met Midnight Lights before, but we've never played together. Like I haven't played with Midnight Lights and I haven't played with Crash Nebula. Pretty sure they've played with each other though before. Not sure, but I'm pretty sure. And then there's something going on the 9th. The Good Vibe guys. I don't think they have the venue yet. The 5/9, May 9th. There's something going on with. Oh man, I'd have to look, but I don't have a venue. It's either going to be at Roboto or somewhere. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know that one yet.
All right, maybe it's canceled already, but I don't think so. I think they're still working on a venue.
Okay. What's your plans for the rest of this year?
Well, in that light, so we'll have the 28th of February, the 9th of April, and I mean the 10th of April and the 9th of May, probably. We'll see. Dave and Josh, if you're listening, I need some deets. All right. I need some deets on this show. That's all that will tie us for our show count, our total show count in 2025 by not even halfway through 2026. So I really want to keep writing and releasing songs. I'm still getting used to this one at a time singles thing, but there's just something about like holding an album. So I think once I get to like 9, I'll be like, all right, one more to round it out at 10. And then hopefully do some sort of album release party. I don't know. Album release party seems just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say pretentious because it's not pretentious. It's a celebration of a great accomplishment, but that's like what it's going to be. It's going to be mostly our friends and family, and we'll do it at some little place that'll be easy to sell out so we can brag and say that we sold out someplace. Like, what was the capacity? 8 people. Wow, great job. You guys are real success stories. But, just the natural progression that that is sort of expected for bands that like want to grow. I want to grow. Do I think I'm ever going to be like a famous rock star? No, I don't. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think there's a lot between not doing anything and becoming world dominating huge band that's worth like, clawing your way towards. So I don't know. I think if we could do all the stuff that old Neon did, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be really cool. Although they did a lot of work. So maybe not that much. But being friends with Mike, and I mixed one of their EPs down here too. They were always kind of the guiding light for like, yeah, this is like what you can do by yourself as a local band. But they don't have any kids, so I always like to use my kids as an excuse for not going as fast as another band.
Okay. Is there any new songs gonna be released this year? Anything new?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have an entire folder on the studio computer of just songs that are written, but the lyrics aren't recorded. We play. How many songs do we play? We play at least one or two songs that are tracked, other than vocals, and we play them live. I was hoping to kind of be like the Dave Matthews Band, where they never had an album and people were just bringing handheld recorders, and then they'd show up to like that place the following year and everyone would be singing the songs somehow. I was kind of looking for the easy way out, people bootlegging the music from live shows. But yeah, there's you know who asked me that a lot? The other guys in my band. All right, we have 5 songs on Spotify and one of them is a Christmas song. So can we get moving? But yes, I'm hoping. All right, I'm not going to promise anything, but the goal for the end of the year is by Christmas 26th there will be 10 songs on Spotify. So I don't know, we'll see. Well, one of them's still going to be a Christmas song. But yes, there's a ton. I'm working on a new one, and the overall vibe is, hey, can we put down our phones and get along with each other? I'm really, really excited about that one. There's another one. There's like a lot of innuendos. It's called Sleeping With You, but it actually means sleeping with you, like snuggling. So you can see a theme like with these songwriting. There's just so many like ones that like I started and then threw away because as I learn more about songwriting, I'm like, yeah, let's put this on a shelf. But long way to say, yes, more songs, big things coming, more songs coming this year for sure.
Okay. Where can we get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram?
Instagram is the de facto. I need to fix the link between the Instagram because it goes to my personal Facebook. So, and I don't think I want that. I think I would probably want that to be to the band's Facebook page. But I also kind of like that it goes to my personal Facebook because my mom's on there and she doesn't have Instagram, and my dad's on there and he doesn't have Instagram, so they kind of get to see. Probably overthinking it, but Instagram is the place. I'm trying to do more and more posts. I did a barn tour, as I mentioned. I'm really excited about the barn being done. It's a really cool rehearsal space that has gotten way, way, way out of hand. It was just supposed to be a shed, and now it's just like a separate like facility in the yard. But I love it. So I try to share. I share everything on there first. It's probably bad that I don't like put them on TikTok too. But yeah, there is a TikTok. I don't know what your thoughts are on cross posting, but it's just like, man, it's so much work that distracts you from music that right now Instagram at Boy in Blue Stripes is the spot. That's the guaranteed most up-to-date spot for right now.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thanks for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, thanks so much, Randy. It's so nice to meet you and put a face to the name. And not even the name, the face to the investor, as you were described. I had no idea it was you. Very, very excited to see what you guys come up with up in Beaver Falls. Thank you so much for having me. Very nice to meet you.
I think you're T-O-X-I-C, yeah. You think I'm T-O-X-I-C, yeah.
T-O-X-I-C, yeah.
I think you're